Welcome to our third introduction video. In this video, we will go over grant expectations that everyone must meet in order for your district to receive funding. We will review how to navigate materials and where to find things, and then we will end with what do you do if you need support and what to expect next. These are the grant participation expectations that apply to all of the SLPs participating within your district in the WisCCA grant. Now, we will be tracking participation mainly for funding purposes. This is not meant to feel like we are micromanaging you or anything like that. It truly is so that your district can receive the funding associated with the grant. These are the minimum requirements that everyone must meet. We will share updates with your lead SLP periodically so that if we notice that some SLPs within your district are struggling to meet these expectations for whatever reason, we can really explore why, what are some of the barriers, and then what are some supports and systems that we need to put in place so that most, if not all, SLPs can really thrive and be successful in this. So we will work very collaboratively with your lead SLP throughout as needs arise, and so that we can really support each and every SLP. Now, our hope is that every SLP in every district is able to complete all the training videos, all the application activities, and attend all of the community of practice meetings. However, we know that is not realistic. We know that life happens and work gets very busy. So the first expectation is that you complete at a minimum at least 5 training videos, those asynchronous videos that we'll send out on a monthly basis. And at the end of those videos, there will be a completion survey for you to fill out. See a slide like this at the end of all of our modules, our asynchronous training videos, and it will give you a QR code to scan or a Google form link that you can go to, and it will instruct you what module to choose when you go to that form. Scan that QR code or follow the link, it will take you to the survey, and it should look something like this. We will ask for your email and your name, then you will choose your school district, and then you will choose what module you completed. Now, the purpose of this completion survey is simply just that, completion. Did you watch the video, yes or no? Because there is that requirement that you complete at least 5 of the training videos. Now, throughout the year, we will offer about 8, so there is a bit of that flexibility. We know life happens, work gets busy, things come up. So please know that we're here to be flexible and we're here to support you through this. Another grant expectation is that you will complete 5 application activities and learning log entries. Throughout the year, we offer about 7 to 8. Here is that example again of that learning log entry. After you've tried out that application activity we suggested, you'll come here and fill this out. And again, meant to be brief. This is the example from that introduction video 2. Another expectation is to attend 5 community of practice meetings. During those meetings, we'll take attendance, but it really is just that, attendance to ensure that your district is meeting the expectations for funding. If you're unable to make it, please connect with me, your lead SLP. We'll make sure to help you in meeting this requirement. We'll support you through an alternative method, which might include some sort of small group or individual meeting or some email exchanges, something like that. Just know that you will be supported in meeting this expectation. And the last expectation is completing 2 surveys. We want to learn from you in this process, so we'll ask you to complete some surveys during the project so we can get your perspective. The 2 main surveys that are part of the expectations are a little more detailed surveys so that we can learn about your assessment practices, learn how your practice will be or has been impacted and possibly changed over the course of the year. And we'll do the first one during our first community of practice meeting in a few weeks, so we'll talk about the feedback systems more during that meeting. We may also do some quick check-ins throughout the project that will only take 1 to 2 minutes as well, and we'll build them into activities. So for example, after a community of practice meeting, we might ask you to fill out a quick 1 to 2 minute survey with some questions like, how's the professional learning going? How can we improve your experience? What can your district do better to support you? So we know that some of this might seem a bit overwhelming, but don't worry. John and I are working through some ways to weave the feedback systems into the project. So overall, these expectations aren't meant to overwhelm or stress you out. We'll lay everything out and there will be plenty of opportunities to meet these expectations. If something comes up, you're feeling overwhelmed, confused, please reach out sooner rather than later. We're here to support you and we're hoping that these expectations don't feel like too much. We've collaborated with your lead SLP to build the schedule around your district's professional learning days or 3-1 schedule, and the application activities will really work to try to support you by weaving them into things that you're already doing with your students. Where do you find the information that you need to each week, each month? At the beginning of each module, you'll receive an email from me that lays everything out that you need. It'll have your asynchronous video link, it will have directions for your application activity, and then it will have that reminder for that community of practice meeting. All of this will be linked into a Google folder that will be used for your district, and everything will be linked in your learning plan schedule as well. So I will make sure that all of those links are included in the email, and then you can go to that Google folder, maybe you save it, favorite it, so it's there for ease of access as well. And within that learning plan schedule, if it's, let's say, the week of October 2nd, we'll link the asynchronous video for you. In the next 2 weeks, maybe you have to try out that application activity, we'll link the directions of where to find that application activity. And then as we approach the community of practice meetings, I will send out some reminders and we will hold those meetings over Zoom. And sometimes we will utilize Teams maybe for a small group or an individual follow-up and things like that. Like I said on the previous slide, the learning plan schedule will contain all of the links you need in addition to receiving that email. So just one thing to clarify before you start your first module. Let's say that your district is on the week of 9/25. They're going to be receiving that first training video. So we'll include the link right there for the YouTube video. And then after you watch that training video, we will have an application activity for you. Now it does say week of 10/2 application activity. Just know that you can start that application activity anytime after you've watched that training video. So if you are able to get that training video completed, let's say 9/27, 9/28, go ahead and start that application activity whenever it works best for you. And just know that you have from the time that you finish the video all the way up until that community of practice meeting to try that application activity and do some reflection in your learning log. So just know that there's flexibility. We just kind of laid out a suggested plan, knowing that you will have to adjust based on your workload for that week, things you have coming up, but also giving you enough time to pre-plan if you have a student that you want to try that application activity out with. And then just know that the application activity and the learning log entries should be completed before that community of practice meeting. So in this case, with the example on the screen, you would have all the way up until about that Tuesday, Wednesday, 10/17, 10/18 to complete that application activity, jot down some answers to some reflection questions that we include, and then be ready to participate in that community of practice discussion. Let's say you're feeling overwhelmed, you're stuck, you don't know what to do, you need help, you have a lot of questions about something isn't clear. What do you do? Always feel free to reach out to me first. If it has anything to do with the training modules, the application activities, meetings, and things like that, please feel free to reach out to John and I, but I'm going to be your first point of contact with kind of those logistics and detailed type of things relating to the modules. So you can see here, you have my email. I do have a phone number if you feel like you need that to contact me. And then I also have a Calendly link. So if you ever feel that you want to set up an individual meeting with me to work out some issues, clarify something, always feel free to utilize that link. It does give you access to my schedule and you can see when I'm free and busy and choose a time that works for you. And there are different options for meeting times such as 15, 30 minutes. So you have flexibility to choose what you need, but always feel free to reach out to me and John. But if it's something you need help with immediately and it relates to those modules, I'm probably going to be your first point of contact. So what to expect over the next week or two? I would encourage you to reference your district-specific learning schedule that should be linked in the email that you're getting with this video. And you should expect to receive information for our first module either the week of September 25th or the week of October 2nd, depending on your district-specific schedule. So like I said before, we will try to lay everything out as organized and as clearly as we can for you and make that navigation piece as easy as possible. As always, please feel free to reach out to any one of us at any point in time during this project. Again, if it's something very specific to the modules, to the professional learning, community of practice meetings, please start with John and I, and we're always happy to support you that way. And we hope that we have answered as many of your questions as we can and that it's pretty clear what to expect in the next week or two within your first module. If there is something that was not answered, you're still wondering about, please reach out and we will make sure to clear that up so you feel ready to go for that first module.